I was wondering if you could give us your top tips for writing crime without being cliche.
The most important thing is to know the genre well, so read as widely in it as you can, because, if you come to it fresh and you write a story, you might think it's a fantastic story, but it's actually very cliche because all the readers of it have seen it all before. So you need to make sure that you know what's already out there in the genre and you know the boundaries within your work, within which you're working. And I think also it's important to, you can pay attention to the news and see what's happening in the crime world out there, why people are doing the things that they do, even though, in real life people do crazy things and horrible things for very little reason, and that's not going to fly in fiction. You need really good motivation, and I think that's the main thing. If your character is going to commit a murder or do some other crime, he or she needs to have really sound reasons for doing that.
So it can't be in real life where sometimes people are just a little crazy.
No, it's hard to get away with that, or because they just felt angry in that moment and they did something. It's crime readers are looking for a good, strong reason, and that has to support the length of the story or the book. So it's got to be sound.
What would you consider to be cliche in crime writing? Like, what would you avoid?
I think serial killers can be problematic. That's been done a lot before, and unless you can find a new way to tweak that or twist that, because I have heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm sick of the serial killer thing," and I think the old standard of the private eye, the noir story with the private eye in his office with a bottle of whiskey, and then a tall blonde woman walks in, and you can't start with that unless you're going to take it somewhere really interesting and different.
That's why a lot of people turn to doing true crime, isn't it? Because, sometimes real life is stranger than fiction.
Yeah, that's right. And there's so much going on out there, and to explore those reasons why those people do those things. Because when it's true crime, you can say, well, this really happened. I'm not making this up. I'm not, he really did kill her for a can of Coke or something. It's, you don't have to make it plausible for a reader.
When you say care about the character, do they sort of need to know a little bit about the background of the character, or they just need to be likable?
I think compelling is is the word really, rather than likable. I mean, likable certainly comes into it, but you can read a novel where you don't particularly like a character, but they're so compelling that you can't stop reading. You want to find out what's going to happen and, whether they'll achieve their goals and that sort of thing. But I guess in most mainstream fiction, likable is important as well. If you can get both of those things working together, then it's going to be good.
Would you be able to give us a potential crime writing exercise that people could do at home?
Well, as I said before, characters are really the most important thing. If you get the characters and their motivation working right, then you've got a really strong basis for a good story. So this is one of the things that I talk about in the workshop, which I'll hold up to the screen here. Is that in focus? Can you see that?
What I might... hold on. So the story is about blank space.
Yeah.
Who wants blank space goal
Mm-hmm.
because blank space motivation and stakes,
Yep.
but can't get because blank space obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things she'll do include blank space actions.
Yes. So this is it's a really handy thing, whether you're starting out on a story or you're partway through and you want to make sure things are working well. Because every story is about a character who wants something and the struggle that they, engage in to get that thing and to overcome the obstacle that's stopping them. So, and certainly, as I said, in crime fiction, characters need to have a really good motivation for what they're doing. So, it helps to look at this and think, okay, well, my story's about this character named whatever. She has to have a goal and she has to really want that goal. There's got to be a lot at stake if she doesn't get it. She has to be well motivated to do everything that she can to get it. And the obstacle, the bad guy in crime fiction, needs to be equally as motivated. So I'll use he for an example. He needs to have his own reasons for what he's doing. He can't just be in the story as a device to get in your main character's way. And as I said before, especially if he's going to murder or hurt somebody, he needs to have really good motivation for doing that. And of course, every bad character in a story thinks they have good reasons for doing what they're doing. So this little exercise sort of helps you make sure that those qualities are working properly in your story.